Here's a video on how to use the cosine rule to calculate a missing length. Here it is, and you might want to start copying this down now because it's quite long. A squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. It's definitely worth trying to remember this and spending some time memorizing it. If you're doing your GCSEs in the year 2017, you will absolutely need to memorize it because it will not be on the formula sheet anymore. Until then, you will still find it on the formula sheet at the beginning of your GCSE papers. Okay, hopefully you've had the chance to write that down. I'm going to start labeling this triangle so that we can try and make sense of the cosine rule. I'm going to label this angle as angle A. And if that's A, then side A will be opposite over there. Okay, and if that's A, then we can have B here and C there, or the other way round, B there and C here. It doesn't really matter, so long as B and C make this angle here A. Okay. If I wanted to find a different side, so at the moment we're trying to find angle side A, which is why A is over on the left hand side of the equal sign. If we're going to try and find B, then I would need to have angle B, and things would change. The cosine rule would change to b squared equals a squared this time minus 2ac cos B. And if we're going to try and find side C instead, then I would want angle C, and this would change to c squared equals b squared plus a squared. We get rid of the c, replace that with an a, and change that to cos C. So hopefully you can see how all of these things relate. What you're going to find is that A is going to be cos A, and B and C will end up there being 2bc. So that's always the pattern. Let's go back to that though. And before I move on to a couple of examples, I just want to show you what this looks like if I fully expand the cosine rule. So a squared stands for a times a, b squared stands for b times b, and c squared stands for c times c. No dramas so far, but this is the important bit that you really need to know what's going on here. 2bc cos A. You know, the one operation that we don't tend to write in algebra is multiplication. Sometimes division, but in this case we're looking at a multiplication. So that stands for take away 2 times b times c times the cosine of A. And I mentioned that for two reasons. The first is so that you know what you're doing on the calculator. Okay, if you start typing in 2 followed by whatever b is, followed by whatever c is, followed by cos A, then your calculator's not going to know what to do. It's going to interpret that as 200 and something something, which is probably not what you want to do. So the first reason that I want to expand that for you is so that you know what to do on the calculator. And the second reason is so that if you ever needed to rearrange the equation, you would know how to undo this, what's going on with the 2bc cos A, because you would know what operations were being used. Okay, so it helps you to rearrange later on. Right, two examples. First one, and I'm going to use this four-step approach to both of them. Label the sides big A, and then little a, little b, little c. So how do you know where to put what? Well, the missing side I'm always going to label A, and if that's little a, then angle big A is directly opposite. And we could have B up there and C down there, or the other way round, as I said before. Doesn't matter. Let's keep it like that now that I've got it there. Okay, step number 2, write out the rule. A squared equals b squared plus c squared. Take away, remember what I said, these two letters here, 2bc, cos, which letter? The one that you're trying to find the length of, A. Okay, just sort of slips off the tongue now. Third step, substitute. So that just means replace the letters, replace the variables with the parts that you have numbers for. So A is the side that we're trying to find. We don't have that, so we'll keep that as A squared. B squared is this one here, so that's 7 squared plus 8 squared. Take away 2 times 7 times 8 times the cosine of 45. Great, we're on to the final step now, which is to solve it. A squared equals 49 plus 64 take away, and if you don't mind, it's going to save me a bit of time if I just do that in my head. 2 times 56 is 112 times cosine of 45. Great. Well, let's do that on the calculator. 49 plus 64 take away 112 cosine 45, close brackets, equals 33.8 something. So a squared equals 33.8. I'm not going to copy it all down. That just tells the person looking at my workings that there was an unrounded number which I'm going to use in the next step. So to work out a, I would need to square root both sides. So keeping that in the calculator, I'll go to square root answer equals 5.8 to one decimal place. So a equals 5.8 centimeters. Yep, centimeters. Worth checking. To one decimal place. Bingo. Number 1 done. Example number 2. Label a, big A, little a, B, C. So I said that was always going to be my A, my unknown. In that case, that's going to be big A. We'll make that little b, we'll make that little c. A squared equals b squared. Come on, you can do this now. Minus 2bc cos A. A squared equals 5 squared plus 9 squared minus 2 times 5 times 9 times the cosine of 39 degrees. Solve it. A squared equals 25 plus 81. Take away. That makes 90. 90 cos 39. Do that on your calculator. Let's clear that. So 25 plus 81. Take away 90 cos 39 equals, I didn't even close the brackets, a squared equals 36.05 and we'll square root both sides. We'll square root both sides to give us what a equals. So square root answer equals about 6, yeah, 6.0 meters this time to one decimal place. We did that, what, in about 45 seconds, a minute? Is that easy? Okay. At this point, I want you to pause the video and do question 1 on the worksheet. Just do question 1. Then when you finished, play the video. So when you finish question 1, play the video again, because I'm going to go through how to do it. This is question 1. That's what I want you to do on the worksheet. Pause the video now. Okay, you've done this on paper. I'm trusting you've done it on paper. Let's do it together. So step 1, if you remember, was to label the sides A, big A, little b, little c. Write out the formula. A squared equals b squared plus c squared. Take away 2bc cos A. Substitute. A squared equals 7 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 7 times 8 times cos 42. So a squared equals 49. I feel like I've been here before with a very similar question. Take away 112 cos 42. It's going to be very slightly different to example number 1. A squared equals, clear this, 49 plus 64, take away 112 cos 42 instead of cos 45. That was example number 1. Right, equals 29 and a equals the square root of that, 5.5 centimeters to one decimal place. Right, that's the end of the video. That's two examples. Question number one. From here, you should be able to do the next few questions. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.